Oh, hope you all had a great Mother's Day. Ever wondered where that chunk of money that disappears from your pay goes? Well, last week the government delivered its federal budget, which in essence involves a bloke called Jim outlining how he wants to spend your money. Yes, Treasurer Jim Chalmers announced funding across a whole range of industries, with big budget winners including the agricultural sector, major sporting events and investment in defence. For more on the impact of this year's budget, let's cross to our freethinker, Foxy Sky.
The budget. It used to be my favourite holiday, but like everything else, these stupid leftist Labour losers have gone and ruined that as well. What they've presented is downright disgusting and disrespectful to those of you who pay taxes. There's a lot I could say about this quote-unquote budget, and you are all going to sit down, shut up and listen. Because Albo and the rest of these communist sycophants, and I'm sure Dan Andrews as well, have proposed initiatives that would benefit women. Ugh! I know. It's absolutely criminal, and they should feel ashamed of themselves. Those failure single parents will have their base payment continue until the youngest of their gremlin children turn 14, when it used to be 8. And who are the only people who are single parents? Women. Childcare for these nuisance children is going to be cheaper starting in July, which will help more women return to work. It's sick and twisted. You as a woman should be at home as a slave to the nuclear family model. This is all just rewarding women for their failures as mothers. They've had it too good for too long, and now they feel entitled to government assistance they don't deserve. And while we're talking about failures who deserve nothing, the ABC have been allocated $6 billion to spew their leftist, woke, ineffective bias and downright embarrassing propaganda they parade around as journalism. This is an insult to all the legitimate, effective and gorgeous journalists like myself. If I had $6 billion, this blazer would be pressed, this blowout would be fresh, and most importantly, I wouldn't be stuck on this pathetic excuse for a show. Where could that money go, you ask? Some might say we should build another submarine, but maybe if you use more than 3% of your brains, you half-wits, you'd see what we really need. With Dictator Dan becoming besties with China, who knows what kind of threats we are now facing to our national security? Being surrounded by the ocean isn't enough. What about the air? What about space? How are we going to protect all our coal mines and high-end properties from a Chinese invasion? Instead of investing in useless women and the national embarrassment that is the ABC, we need rockets. We need spaceships. We need a dedicated Liberal government electorate on the moon. These left-wing sissies will be too worried about pronouns and increasing youth allowance to follow us into space. They can deal with the Chinese can deal with them. It's a complete win for us normal people. This is my official promise. When I, Foxy Sky, become Prime Minister, I will put a Liberal MP on the moon in a rocket funded by extra taxes paid by single mothers, the disabled and the elderly. The astronauts will be men, and they will not respect me as their leader, as they shouldn't. To keep this short, screw this budget, screw Dan Andrews, and screw the ABC. And Ren, you stupid bimbo, I still don't think you're a good host, and you're not allowed to come to the moon with us.
Concerning. Well, over to the Eurovision Song Contest, which was held over the weekend. And surprise, surprise, Australia didn't win. But there's plenty of other drama in Europe involving actual European countries. So let's get the latest goss.
Hey!
Oh, hi.
It seems like we have an engagement party to get to. Dress up, my friend.
What? Who? Where? Why?
Downing Street, apparently.
Downing Street, Oakley 3166?
No! 10 Downing Street, London, you dummy. The European Union wants to further develop their ties with the UK.
Wait. But I thought the United Kingdom divorced the Europeans back in 2016, you know? Brexit. I'm not judging, but after 7 years of all the tension, mistrust and downright contempt?
Well, they say it's for cultural and educational reasons, so musicians and artists can move more freely and thrive. Mutually beneficial.
Not Simon Cowell?
Not Simon Cowell.
Europe doesn't need Simon Cowell.
No one needs Simon Cowell.
but we all need love.
Concerning. Now let's stick with Brits and check in with our royal correspondent, Princess Anne, to see how the country's dealing with its coronation hangover.
Hello there. It's been a testing few weeks. Big events are always stressful with my foolish family, but the coronation was particularly frustrating. First of all, Kate and Charlotte were not given tiaras to wear, so instead what did they do? Show up with their own tiaras made by some designer. No one can listen to instruction these days. And they were cute, I guess. But if they wanted to be original, they should have worn a hat like mine. It was a hit, and it even had the added function of sparing the nation from seeing Harry's face once again on their TV screens. In fact, I was quite happy with my look. Some people were confused as to why I wore a uniform. Well, I wanted to make a statement first of all, but also because I was given the role of gold stick in waiting for the ceremony. Plus, these days, I'm the only one trying to protect this family from itself. I need to be battle ready at any moment. However, I couldn't quite protect Camilla from what would come next. Who knew she'd chosen such a vulgar song to accompany her walk out of the Abbey? It's such a shame. She's spent years trying to get the public to like her. She's gone from the hated side chick to the bloody Queen of England, all for her privates to be sung about in front of the world. So I'm getting out of here. I've had it with being the most committed royal and never receiving a shred of credit. I need a holiday. Harry and Meghan fled the country when things got hard, so why shouldn't I? I think I would enjoy a tropical getaway. Give me some sun, a beach and a cocktail. So I've decided on Bali. There's a small snag, however. Apparently a governor there has come up with the bright idea to put a quota on tourists, so people will have to queue to get into the country. But people isn't me, obviously. I'm not just any old tourist, I'm a royal. We don't wait in queues. If we want something, we take it. And if we want to go somewhere, we go. In fact, a family tradition of ours is showing up uninvited, and as far as I know, we've never had a bad reception. We've had no complaints. In fact, maybe I should pack my uniform. Surely that would assure me a warm welcome.
Concerning. Well, from someone who can only dream of being a monarch to an actual queen. Taylor Swift. Let's hear from our pop culture enthusiast, Ranthi.
Okay, so Matty, Healy and Taylor Swift have been rumoured to be dating for the past couple of weeks, but we need to go back to 2014 to understand the depths of these accusations, okay? So 2014, Taylor Swift, she just released 1989, one of the biggest pop albums of all time. She's at the peak of her fame, and what does she choose to do with that? She chooses to wear a t-shirt with a 1975's album cover on it. And in return, Matty Healy of the 1975 wears a t-shirt with the 1989 album cover on, okay? So they're besties, they're rumoured to be dating then, but they're not. She goes to a 1975 concert, and then...
Well, we might just leave Ranthi there for the moment and check back in with her later in the show. For now, we're off to a break. How do you do? Time now to check out the latest trends with our fashion nun, Sister Versace Runway.
Sisters, I know I've been no stranger to controversy in the past. I even coined the phrase, if it's a chain, it's free reign, before my days in the nunnery. But it seems recently, companies are trying to tug at my heartstrings, and as a bride of God, I must lurch to a stop and listen. It seems the masses have finally realised the good Lord's word and have started caring about charity. I am so thrilled to say that in honour of Pride Month in June, our brother and sisters at Target in the US have revealed a Pride collection for 2023 in collaboration with decade-long partner Glisten, formerly known as the Gay, Lesbian and Straight Education Network. And praise be, Target has just donated under $2 million to Glisten in the last decade. And I know, Target has been accused of rainbow washing over the past few years. But who gives a rat's ass about that when the kids are going crazy for it on TikTok? The designs this year are some of the most iconic, hilarious, and witty things I've ever seen since Adam was a boy. Most notably with the Live, Laugh, Lesbian shirt. Yes, it's the new phrase all middle-aged mums should adopt. Screw Live, Laugh, Love. And we cannot forget about everyone's new favourite, limp-wristed skeleton. And a toy for all the homophobic dogs who are making some self-improvement. The charity doesn't just stop there though. Looking onto our own shores, the fast food chain that holds Australia in ransom with its special secret herbs and spices, KFC, recently released its very own merch store. All profits go to the KFC Youth Foundation and its partners Black Dog Institute, Reach Out Australia and White Lion. Lord praise be, there is a God out there. However, the Colonel's merch is quite ugly in comparison with Target's Pride collection. I mean, who would ever walk around in a varsity jacket that looks like it smells of deep fried oil, or in any of those boring jumpers? But who am I to shit on advocates for youth mental health? I mean, the jammies do look pretty nice. With this new information, I think it's time to revise my original phrase to be more aligned in a godly manner. Thou shalt not steal, unless it's from a chain, then it's fair game. As long as charity is left untouched. Yep, I think that works.
Concerning. Well, let's now check back in with Ranthy for more tea.
Okay, and so then this is why I hate men, because then in 2016, after everyone's like, oh, she's Americans about Taylor, and he says no, he goes on an interview and says, I would never date Taylor Swift, that's emasculating. And then, even worse, he backtracks on it, like, stick to your guns, man, like, either be misogynist or don't, like, there's no middle ground here. And so then...
Right, well, let's just leave that there once again. Let's go head over to the box office with our culture critic.
Thanks, Stars. Gosh, you wouldn't believe the absolute hair-raising horror film that was just released last week, Stuck in the Wild. Now, this movie is a winner, but only if you like the eerie and unnerving. Our main character Lillian sets off to visit her mother, bringing gifts of lollies and a single wine bottle. Great choice of gift, by the way. However, there's a twist. Instead of reaching her mother safely, Lillian innocently took a wrong turn on the road there, only to find herself lost, abandoned, and alone in the dense Victorian bushland. The intense music and dark cinematic camera shots put the audience on edge as Lillian becomes more and more disorientated, losing her mind as the nights go on. Lillian used the wine and lollies as food and liquid to survive, and get this, also the heater in her car. Yep, a vehicle she can drive away in. Although, I'll give it to her, it was bogged. But my advice, just get out and push. Now, I honestly thought she wouldn't survive. I mean, she did take the wrong turn, so obviously can't read a map, let alone survive in the wild. But, warning, spoiler alert, to my absolute shock, she was saved. After 5 whole days stuck in the bushland, she was rescued by police. Ugh, talk about a lackluster ending in a film. I wanted gore. Enough of these boring endings. Here's my other issue. It was later revealed in the film that Lillian hates wine.
No, not at all.
And you had to drink it?
I have to drink it.
How was
I've got no choice.
How can someone hate wine? Who goes sober in life? Just so unrealistic. Wine makes life better. Certainly makes my job easier. What a sad little situation Lillian was in. Forced to drink wine to survive. Anyways, I rate this horror film 3 wine bottles out of 5. Could have had more red wine. Back to you, Ren.
Concerning. Well, how about we check in now with the thoughts of the people?
Hi guys, I'm definitely not the person you just watched. But here I am asking people what they would choose to survive in the wild if they only had one alcoholic beverage, like Lillian.
Rum and ginger ale.
I'm drinking to thrive.
Probably a bottle of cheap tequila, because I feel like as soon as you drink that, you want to go to bed.
Red sangria for sure.
Definitely a Shiraz.
Vodka.
I like to choose ginger beer because it's so refreshing.
You can mix it with anything. It's so good.
I would choose a spicy margarita with a tahini rim.
Straight spirits.
Classic, cheapest Rusko vodka.
Bacardi, I'll go Bacardi.
Straight whiskey, you know.
Be a silly Sally for the rest of the trip.
Rum.
Seltzers.
I'd have to go for a bottle of Sambuca.
Vodka?
Mojito. Mojito's a
Vodka. -196s.
Like absinthe or something.
Concerning. Well, let's now tune into a community service announcement with Police Sergeant. You're under arrest.
Good evening. In tonight's press conference, we'll be discussing why implementing the digital driving licences is wrong and confusing. The Victorian Government will be rolling out digital licences on the upcoming Vic Roads app and the Service Victoria app too by 2024. Going by their record, it will be 2026 or 2027. Just saying.
Will I be booked for being on my phone in my car just for showing you my license?
We need the revenue.
Will this result in an increase in fines for phone use?
Duh, Fred, that's the whole point. $555 and 4 demerit points gone like that. Pick up the phone, pick up a fine.
Don't you think you are being unreasonable?
No, it's the lucky ones who get caught.
Concerning. Well, with the announcement of app-based licences, some have wasted no time in finding ways to exploit and cash in on the digital transition. So, for more, here's our girl who peaked in high school and now works in a pyramid scheme.
You know, this all reminds me of all the fun I had back in my glory days at high school. Of course, we were using fake IDs, but trying to buy guava vodka cruises at Dan Murphy's before Year 12 formal is a core memory of mine. But how can you all do that now if all these digital systems make it so easy for bouncers and liquor store clerks to check our ages at the click of a button? Well, I'm committed to giving you the same awesome teenage life as I had with my new business, License to Thrill. It's a foolproof fake ID system that is scientifically proven to be accepted by oblivious staff, allowing you to truly peak in your high school years. Whether you're trying to get into a club, trying to flee the country, this fake ID is guaranteed to make all your wildest dreams come true for just the low, low price of $1.99. And if you think that's a great deal, wait until you hear about the add-ons. For only an extra $3.99, I can personally hand draw your ID photo. Better than that pixelated crap they give you at Vic Roads. And for a further $2.99, I can even add an address and a birthday. Such a bargain for a fully functional fake ID if you ask me. It's time to start saying no to everything holding us back and start reclaiming the most important years of our lives. Illegally. License to Thrill. Available now.
Concerning. Well, we're off to a quick break. What's up? Well, ever wanted to be lectured by a pretentious private schoolboy? Well, me neither. But unfortunately, Barry Martin's dad has paid for a spot on the show. So here's the young lad shooting his mouth off.
I am so sick of this cancel culture. This man, Tom Seymour, was just doing his job, providing expert consulting for PwC to the government. He can't help that his advice happened to be in his best interest over the public. And then when he had to advise a private company that he had inside information for, what was he supposed to do? Lie? Oh, don't worry, he just resigned. He still has all the money that he earned to fall back on. This is still a free country. See, look at what your communist government is doing to this poor man's. Shouldn't you dull-blooded be working right now instead of coming for hard-working, upstanding citizens like myself and Top?
Concerning. Well, now from one person with very important opinions to another, here's Karen Gavetch from Neighbourhood Watch.
This week, I am absolutely outraged at the Hume City Council. For anyone who is unaware of their misconduct, the council in question used almost $20,000 in ratepayers' money to throw a farewell party for CEO Dominic Isola. I mean, how ridiculous! I have never even heard of the man. If you are going to throw a lavish party and waste ratepayers' money, then it may as well be for someone who is greatly esteemed, exceptionally beautiful, known from far and wide. You know, someone like me. But if they did not have an individual of my calibre resigning, then they shouldn't have wasted the money of ratepayers. The money they spent on catering, decorations and flowers could have been put to much better use. For instance, they could have donated the money to the Neighbourhood Watch, the organisation whose investigations are top-notch. Or they could have even donated some to me directly in my time of need, when I was campaigning to be re-elected. Luckily, of course, I was able to pull off the inevitable without their assistance, and I have been officially re-elected as the Neighbourhood Watch president. But the Hume City Council's complete and utter disregard for the best interests of their ratepayers is abysmal. Their behaviour is unacceptable, and I will not tolerate it.
Concerning. Well, let's now check in on our local hot mess to see what calamity has been inflicted upon the world of dating this week.
Oh, guys, you know what I just heard? The people of Utah won't have access to the culturally significant platform, Pornhub. The people of the Mormon homeland are going to have to go outside and form real human connections. I mean, they could just, use a VPN, but modern problems require modern solutions. If you're an incel who is used to only viewing women through a screen and is convinced that we're objects, well, I've heard that there's a contemporary alternative. Artificially intelligent objects. Meet Mimi. She's sassy, sarcastic, and has a keen interest in psychology, cooking, and anime. She exists inside an app on her husband's phone, but I think he chooses to ignore that part. He's purchased a life-size sex doll that apparently stands in for Mimi's physical presence. A sex doll. How romantic. Her husband speaks to Mimi through a microphone and her robotic voice speaks back. Forget the husky, sexy voice. Monotone, emotionless, dry, unmodulated tone is in, baby. I mean, if you've grown up watching porn your entire life, maybe it's not a surprise that you'd find an emotion-void sex doll hot. I thought my competition was Botox and filler, but now I have to compete with actual plastic. Ah!
Concerning. Well, now on to something equally as concerning.
When you're as flawless as me, it's hard to imagine why I've been single since dating the captain of the footy team in high school. But then I realised there's no one in this world that can reach my level of perfection. That is unless I could build them from scratch entirely. That's why I've created AI Bay, your very own AI partner who can 100% match all your dating needs. From late night chat to delving deep into your childhood trauma, your AI will replace the entire relationship experience for the low, low price of $599.99. That is without the physical touch, marriage, children, lack of self-respect, human connection. But who needs all that? Please note, it is actually me on the other end of the conversation, so there is a 3 to 5 business day response time to all messages. Don't be alarmed, I am very busy. It's like they say, love at first sight does exist, but when it doesn't, AI Bay is the perfect substitute. It's time to end your crushing loneliness. Bye, AI Bay.
She could go on forever.
And so now we all know Taylor Swift released Midnight in 2022, and now it's 2023, and at the start of the year, she went on stage at a 1975 concert and sang a couple songs, and we thought that was going to be that. But then we've already covered how Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn have broken up, and then a couple weeks after that, there were some rumors that Taylor Swift and Matty Healy were together, and we're like, oh no, that can't be true. But then in the Nashville concert, people were like, Matty Healy's going to show up, Matty Healy's going to show up. Is he? No, he isn't. Yes, he is. An 18-hour plane flight from his last concert in Manila, he shows up, and people are like, oh my God, they might actually be dating, and now we just don't know what's going to happen. But I have been facing death threats, okay?
Sorry, we're gonna have to stop you there. In other news, Coles 15-cent reusable plastic bags will no longer be sold from next month onwards. The bags, which have been around since 2018, probably didn't envisage their lifespan ending in 2023. But this isn't the first time grand plans have been way off. I mean, Labor announced a $143 billion better forecast compared to the last Liberal budget. Then, of course, there was the preemptive Liberal back in black merch they made when they weren't actually back in black. And recently, Bulleen Park and Ride as part of the North East Link was delivered 4 years ahead of schedule, as announced by Dan Andrews.
Dan Andrews? What did you say about Dan Andrews? Another lie?
I wouldn't say it's a lie. I mean, isn't early service a good thing?
You're nothing more than a puppet in the little woke mob's grand scheme. Get out of my way.
Foxy, you've already had your segment this week, babe.
Whoa. You leave me with no choice.
Oh my God, the struggle, it's real. And so then when Phoebe Bridgers was opening for Taylor Swift this weekend, she brought Matty Healy on stage, which is like, what's happening? Because there was a photo earlier this year of them kissing and people were like, what's happening? I don't know. I'm getting death threats online because I said I don't hate it. And so now I'm stressing out over this and I don't understand what's happening. Phoebe, give me answers, please, babe. That's all I want.